It's Wide Awake here on Doxa TV, and my name is Alex Simbwa, and welcome to the third hour of the program. With me in studio this morning is Calvin Mwahuzi. Calvin is a political analyst and lawyer, and we will be here to discuss elections. Okay, we are going to be discussing elections, but also from a lawyer's perspective, but also from a political analyst's position. Calvin, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am very fine.
Very fine.
Yes.
Glad to know. Kindly say hello to our viewers as well.
Good morning, Ugandans. I'm happy to be here again. I'm not a new face.
Yeah.
I've been here, just that I've taken a year now.
Okay.
But I'm glad to see Doxa is moving.
Okay.
And we thank God.
Now we thank God for that. Okay, it's hours to the election. The atmosphere is tense in some areas, easy in others, and the candidates, especially on the level of president, are winding up with their elections. According to the law, how much time do they have to be, they stop campaigning? Is it 48 hours?
Yes.
48 hours to the election.
They're supposed to end on 13th.
13th, which is today.
Yes.
So they end today.
Yes.
How do you think the campaign trail has been for them?
I've been following. I think from presidential elections to the parliamentary elections,
Okay.
local government, the campaign season has been Uganda as usual.
Uganda as usual.
Here and there we have some instances.
Okay.
There and there we are doing good. We have, I've got a chance to read through manifestos. His Excellency, the President, has had a strong, as always, manifesto, hitting on this time around protecting the gains. When you look at some of the things he has done in infrastructure, medical care, and all that, then the Honorable Chagulani has also maintained his manifesto that is inclined on removing the dictator, and this time around is going for the protest vote. So we are seeing that rather than in 2021, 2026 is a little bit different. We have seen a lot of electoral commission trying to pull out candidates in the parliamentary elections.
We have seen that, yeah.
We have seen that NUP has faced more hardships this time around. Most of their candidates have defected to the NRM rather than in 2021 when everybody wanted to have a card for NUP.
For them, yeah.
And when you look at Western Uganda, Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda, they have fought so hard to make sure that NRM has candidates who are going straight forth to the 12th parliament.
That's true.
So when you look at the campaign period of this time, legally it has created a lot of precedents that are bad for the country, especially in our politics. We have seen the increase of the monetization of politics. Right now, I was hearing my senior comrade Mubarak Munyagwa saying he spent 2.9 billion. But when you look at the campaign Mubarak Munyagwa has had, you don't expect him to spend such kind of money. But that money...
Is there accountability for this kind of money even?
Political money has no accountability most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yes.
And is there a rule or a law that is supposed to safeguard citizens against certain monies? I know for the government, for example, that they will put certain laws. I've just read somewhere that NGOs, a certain NGO has been barred from operating because of the suspicion that they are receiving money from which is supposed to be facilitating campaigns here and there. So on that end, it is possible. But for an individual, is there any means to scrutinize and know that this person got money or uses money that is...
No, legally, I've not addressed myself on issues of when it comes to regulation of money. But all I know is Electoral Commission has always come out and informed people not to monetize the election.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, politics is supposed to be a financial muscle.
It is.
And sometimes where strategies don't work, you'll find that money is working. So when politicians spend a lot of money, it's because they hope to get something out of it. So when you're talking about Chapter 4 and its
Chapter 4 and this, yes,
resigning of its NGO permit, this happened in 2021 when they arrested Councillor Nicholas Opio.
I remember.
On the same thing of they were money laundering almost $300,000. But this is a gimmick that the NRM political regime, we don't want to call it a state thing. The NRM political regime puts a certain measure of pressure on the civil society to make sure that they don't participate in the coming election. Chapter 4 has been very vocal in issues of elections, and it has been amicus curiae, friends of court in election petitions. So when this kind of pressure comes, that means when a presidential petition comes very soon, which we expect to come after the election is done, you will find that this kind of NGO will not participate in.
Because they've been bad
Yes.
from the very beginning. What does that speak of the political landscape then? Is it even ground from the very beginning?
No, we want to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
We live in a country where I always want to differentiate between the state and the ruling party.
Yeah.
Though our leaders have incorporated the ruling party and the
Into
state,
the state,
but they are two different things. We live in an environment where the ruling party has become the state, and it has used state machinery to protect their landscape.
That's
so
true.
it can't be even when you're having a candidate, Robert Chagulanyi, going to Chenjojo, and you're beating the hell out of him and his supporters.
Using state machinery.
Yes. So at the end of the day, you find that the ground is not common. You are finding that Right Honorable Anita Among in Bokedia will disqualify and stop people from being nominated, and then she goes ahead to being unopposed, and then you call that a level ground. The same thing was done with Honorable Thomas Tayewa, Honorable Bright Ramirama, all the people who have been coming up independent, the ministers and so on.
Unopposed.
So
They claim it is unopposed and
Yes,
so on.
unopposed.
And for the one thing is that there will be a majority somehow for the NRM in Parliament, but not on legal grounds or not on even grounds in as far as that is.
You see, legally, we have a very failed state when it comes to the legal perspective of things.
Okay.
When we look at the legal perspective, I had the chance to look at the reasoning of Justice Simon Chinobe in the Walkaga matter. The reasoning is shallow, first of all, because when you look at the election appeals which came from the Electoral Commission, they were citing people having less signatures, people having not having the level of senior six. Legally, our laws are now in favor of certain people and leaving out a certain people. And remember, the law is supposed to be a friend to everyone.
Yes, it
it's
is.
supposed to serve the majority. So it is a bad precedent, and we are not doing well on the legal side of the law.
Okay, let me speak about the tension. There are fears all over the place. Are they founded fears? Fears of the internet being shut down, fears of probably banks being closed and so on. Are they justified fears, or are we imagining things?
I saw the executive director for UCC making a press release on the same issue about internet not being shut down, about everything remaining normal, in line with communication and in line with service delivery. We have seen on NBS the other day, we saw PROs of the army, the police, prisons coming out to have a talk show. Though this may seem good, and sometimes it may seem like they're giving an answer, but we saw what happened in 2021. The same speculations were there, and they actually came to pass. So if 2 or 3 days we spend it off the block when there is no internet, it's not new.
Okay.
But it affects then a lot of other people who run businesses on it. It affects a lot of other people actually who depend on these services to work. Now, with the fears of the people, I want us to take it back from 2016 election. We have seen what has been happening. There will be death, there will be battering. People will come out of the election when they are unhealthy, when they have broken arms, broken legs. People are going to look for their people and they're nowhere to be seen. You're going to have lists of people abducted on the polling stations, lists of people abducted the day before elections. We have Sam Muguya, who has disappeared and is a candidate in Rukunjiri. So we have all these things that have been happening predominantly in our elections. So when people raise actual fears about what is going to happen come 15th, it is not because they don't know what they're saying, but it has happened before, and they're trying to raise an alarm, and they're like, you know what, This has happened before. This time around, it seems like it's also going to be business as usual. Can you people come out and explain to us, is it going to be different, or are we going to be in the same cycle?
Well, the explanations matter.
No.
No, they won't.
Yes.
So why explain at all? They would be thinking.
Politics is a perspective.
Okay.
So the NRM party must give the people a feeling that we are with you, we hear you, and we need you to stand with us.
Okay. Okay, let me go to Ugandans, the ordinary Ugandans. What does the ordinary Ugandan vote for? They are tomorrow and Thursday they will be at the polling stations. They will be going to vote. What exactly do they vote for? Do they vote for manifestos? Do they vote for appearances? Do they vote for T-shirts or 2,000 shillings or 5,000? What do they vote for? What do Ugandans vote for?
To be honest, the ordinary Ugandan would look at a lot of things. I have been in Hoima. My friend Honorable David Karuanga is standing as a member of parliament, and you would literally see what the people of Kigorobia County want. And some of them are talking about schools, some of them are talking about bursaries, some of them are talking about road infrastructure, business connections. But then you have people in far as deep as Nakapiripit up there who are looking for a meal. You give me 2,000, I go to the polling station and I stand. And then you have the ideological people, people who are trying to look at what will the government do for us. You look at lawyers, they will want to see how is the rule of law going to be protected. When you look at doctors, we have the internship problem. Our sisters and young brothers who are in the medical field are not being able to get internship places after they finish their degree. When you look at the issues of lawyers, LDC is another problem. When you look at the issue of unemployment, there are people who are looking at an alternative-based government that is able to give solutions. But an ordinary Ugandan, it's alarming that we still have Ugandans who want 2,000 a meal and all that.
At the expense of
to be honest to myself, most Ugandans are not strategy-based Ugandans.
Okay.
They will vote a person. In 2021, we saw people who voted an umbrella.
Yeah.
In 2026, we presume the same is going to happen.
They'll vote an umbrella, irrespective of whether it represents this or that.
We have seen the Busiro issue where Honorable Walukaga is. I cannot stand and say Honorable Walukaga is at the level of Honorable Medad Saguna. But at the end of the day, the flag was the status quo. And people are going to vote there.
Yes.
So with voting, it is a case-to-case basis. You'll find where a person is an opposition person in an NRM-dominated area, but they are saying we are voting a personality. You'll find an NRM person in Buganda, and they are saying we are voting him because he is the person we know. So we cannot take away the perspective of people in line with how they connect with their leaders and in line with how they deal with their leaders. Some leaders have just been them. We look at the Buhweju MP. He has stood strong as an FDC candidate in Buhweju, but now into PFF, he's still almost the only opposition party person in the Chigezi region. But because they associate with him, they know what he stands for and who he is, they decided to vote for him. So people vote on a case-to-case basis. It's just different.
All right. Calvin, you, the elite, have been accused of refusing to vote for your personal reasons. Sometimes the other one is the imagination that the election is an already foregone conclusion, so there is no reason for you to vote. And a lot of citizens, a lot of Ugandans think that if you did your part, you, the elite, you'll stay in your houses. They know that you'll stay in your houses while the rest of us will be in lines. You'll say, why waste my time? Let it be done and I'll get back to business as usual. What's your take?
On the honest part of it all, it's true that our educated people, I hate calling
them elite,
because elite is a certain group of people who hold power and influence. And most of us are just educated.
I
we are not elite. But the educated kind of people have a perspective that government will not change. It is true.
That it
we will not change
government.
come 2020, come 15th. We will change a few members of parliament, local government on 16th, but...
And that's my question. Why wasn't the focus from the beginning, when you have an election in 2021, and you realize that even 5 years from now, it may be impossible for us to change the topmost position, why not concentrate on the lower positions and, for example, increase the number of members of parliament on the opposition side, instead, because we'll have the same issue still in parliament, a dominant NRM in parliament, which could have been avoided if we were perhaps united, or if people were united on the opposition and focused there more.
Mr. Simba, I want to inform you, there is no control of the state or government when you only have parliamentarians.
Okay.
The biggest control of the state is when you are in control of the state.
Exactly.
Even when NUP wins 100% of members of parliament,
if they do not win
the head of state is still NRM. I will call you to State House and tell you, okay, this is and this and this is what I want to do, and it will be the same pigeonhole story we had with Milton Obote. So at the end of the day, I understand the frustration, and I understand the effort they are putting. They are trying, because I have seen them put almost 200 members of parliament as candidates. It is not the best, but they are pushing. And most of them may not win, but they are setting a precedent.
But my trouble is you have 6 opposition candidates against one another in a small constituency somewhere. Why don't you sit down and agree that you are strongest in this area? So you represent us as opposition, not as a specific or individual party. You're strongest. Your chances are. You give us the example of Medad Segona down there in Wisiro. If he's the best, let him find other places where you have strength and concentrate there. Or think parties and say maybe the FDC is very strong in the Chigezi area and so on, and then let them be. Then if the NUP is strong somewhere, let them be. If another party is strong somewhere, that way I believe that there is a balance somehow that can increase the number of members of parliament for the opposition generally.
I believe our political growth has not yet reached
that level.
We have not yet sat down to come up with an ideological change of power, where we all agree that we are tired of the status quo, let's work together. We had the issue of TDA with Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi in 2016. We thought it would actualize into something, but at the end of the day, it failed somewhere. We had the same coalition in 2021 when the opposition candidates came together and made a press conference at Africana and all those things. But then, still, we are more rhetoric than how our actions are. We have had the coalition of PFF and ANT. I expected PFF not to front candidates where an ANT person is, or ANT to do the same where PFF is. But we are having ANT candidates
in places where
the PFF is. And we have not seen PFF come out to support the presidential candidate of ANT. So these politics we admire so much of, we move together. We haven't reached there. We have sectarian politics. We have tribalistic politics. We have religious politics. We have community politics. There is a lot that we need to know among ourselves. When I was seeing Honorable Norbert Mao fronting the issue of a reconciliation program for Ugandans, it was a good program and it was going somewhere. But at the end of the day, we have failed to understand ourselves, so we cannot go ahead to have a coalition that can change government. We have seen this in Kenya. The late Omolo Odinga had the coalition. Right now, Kenya almost had a coalition government, and I believe the same thing is going to happen come this year. The coalition government is going to be among DP and NRM, and they're going to be moving together. But still, that's a small coalition government. We look at a coalition government that is bigger and broad-based. When you look at the Kenyan government, it's a broad-based government. You'll have people from Odinga's party and people from Honorable Ruto's party. And you will see that they are trying all to move the country forward. So in Uganda, we have failed to be a strategy-based politics. We have failed to work on our religious issues, community-based issues, tribalistic issues, sectarian issues. And if we look past that and have one nervous system, we can be able to get there.
Okay. Let's talk individualism, because I'll tell you that even within the NRM, for example, the Speaker of Parliament was a member of the opposition.
Yes.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament was a member of the opposition. Honorable Abdu Katuntu is now speaking NRM. And you'll go on and on and on. So they seem to abandon ship somewhere for individual interests. What happens?
Individualism, we are human beings before we become politicians and whoever. We all believe in mpitirawo untia, like mpitirawo untia. At the end of the day, you have spent 15 years in parliament. You're a member of parliament. You know, people here believe a member of parliament is going to build roads, do what and do what. But some of us who have worked at parliament, we know what members of parliament do and how their money comes and how it goes and disappears. So you know what they can do and what they can't do. You know the lobbying that happens at parliament. When I see members of parliament change ship at any point in time, I don't blame them.
You don't blame them?
I don't blame them.
Okay.
I may be surprised. Now, like Honorable Katuntu, I was surprised. He's a man of status and value. Even when he remained in opposition, he would be respected among the NRM. That's why I respect people like Honorable Medad Segona. They will disagree with the NUP, but they will not say, I'm going to get ship and go to the NRM. Because they know, whether I'm in opposition, I will still be respected the same as any other politician. Because they have built capacity to command the respect, irrespective where they are. So the individualism in politics is more of, I am the only person who can do this. The changing of political parties is there, right? But the issue of, I am the only candidate capable, I am the only person who can deliver, the president listens to only me. We saw that in the SEC elections of NRM. We saw it between Right Honorable Anita Among and Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, fighting for a position of the first female vice chairperson. Kadaga says, I brought this. Right Honorable Speaker says, I am the speaker and I'm therefore supposed to be this. The individualism among our politicians is what is killing the political space we have. So the change of political party may be an issue we have to discuss on the stabilization of the political parties, but the individualism is in the self-making of, I am the only person who can deliver, which is actually killing our politics. When you look at the members of parliament, why doesn't a member of parliament serve 2 terms? It's the same thing. Yes, it's the same thing that led to the removal of the term limits and the age limit. Because the individualism of people thinking that the only president that can lead this country is General Museveni. And at the end of the day, we have capable leaders. You look at the Mugisha Muntus, they have a vision, they are statesmen. But at the end of the day, there are people out there who are like, the only person who we can succeed in doing what we can do is General Museveni. And later on, they will tell you, we want this one. And who is it? The son of the other one. And you're asking yourself, where is the vision? Where is the sustainability of the political party? Right now, we are looking at Tanzania. Tanzania had a very strong Chama cha Mapinduzi.
Yes, it did.
But they brought in a lady who has not been at a structural level to understand. Yes, you are a former vice president. Yes, you have been in the structure. But do you know the values we stand for? Now, the decline of the party starts from there. The age limit thing and the term limits is what led to the death of the NRM itself. Because we expected the NRM to live much longer than President Museveni. But the individualism of the NRM, thinking that we have only one candidate, we are the only capable people, it leads to the decline.
Then within the party, let me speak a little bit NRM and say they have been accused from within of favoring outsiders to insiders. You have an NRM cadre who serves the party for long, and because you want a strong opposition candidate to, opposition person to join you, you sacrifice and say, okay, let us reward the person that is coming in from the outside. You are always a member. You will always be, whether we promote you or give you You get it? And they've been complaining from within and saying the problem with you, our leader, is that you seem to think so much outside than within.
Okay, NRM has a person, their chairman, is looking at how do I sustain myself.
Himself,
yes.
Not the party, not...
How do I sustain myself being the head of state?
Okay.
Remember, for you to sustain yourself, you must bring in people who are fighting you and people who are able to command the masses. You are an NRM cadre. Now, let me speak about cadres like Amama Mbabas. For them, they may be close to circles and everything. But, okay, let me speak to a cadre like Honorable Kadaga. That's not the person you throw out for
anyhow.
A young person like Honorable Anita Mo. He's not a person you go tossing around and throwing insults at. But at the end of the day, our leaders need to understand that there is an expiry date on everything.
That's true.
You have impacted us. Now, for me, I grew up looking up to Right Honorable Kadaga. I grew up debating and wanting to be like Honorable Ken Luchams. These are people I used to respect. Their debating skills in Parliament. But at a certain level, Honorable Kadaga had outlived her purpose. Honorable Kadaga had done what she could do for the NRM. But the cadres, yes, they have impacted. Yes, they have stood with the party chairman. Yes, they have stood with the head of state. But at the end of the day, there must be a transition in the party.
A transition is the big word there, because do we exercise it at any level in Uganda? Mentorship. Because you'd have expected that if you want to keep your interests going, mentor somebody. Even when you exit, somehow you'll be proud that somebody is taking over from where you are. But do we have it here?
I don't know much about inside the NRM party.
Okay.
Because
but as a country, do we have it?
As a country,
do you point anywhere and say, you look at it, it's here?
I'll use the words of the head of state. When he was asked one time about a transition, he said, there is a transition after 5 years. You vote members of parliament here. So you keep changing. And even him, he has a psychological game he plays. Every election year, he changes the name.
Yeah.
Today, if it is...
now he's not Tibuhaburwa.
He will change and put some other name. And he will tell you, you go and look at the elections.
It was a different person.
So, ideologically, the transition is not there. We are lacking on people who have a vision on where to take the country. We used to think the 86 class had a vision. We used to think that these people of General David Sejusa, the Gregory Mugisha Muntu, the Amama Mbabazi, the Mutebiles of then, they had, so Right Honorable Rukunda had vision, and these were people who were going next, the Kano Kiza messages. So we thought that the transition would work on these people, the people who carry vision for the country. But when we look at how things are going, we may not have a transition as we need it. Right now, Honorable Norbert Mao is talking about an inner circle transition, where you must transit when you are inside, and
there's a transition, but within
the NRM party, which I believe is wrong, because the whole essence of us carrying out elections is us people going to exercise our rights to change government to the people we believe can take us to the next level. But when you tell us the transition must be an inner job, that means you want to sit with a certain set of people, decide for the 43 million people on how they can live their next generations, which is wrong. So a transition question is there, but then it is a question of honesty. We must be honest with ourselves. Are we ready for the transition? Are we capable to withhold the standards and values we have had for the last 30 years? Are we capable to move on, or we are going to go again and relapse more 10 years behind? So all those questions are there. But at the end of the day, what I know is Ugandans need to see a change in how the things have been done. I'm not speaking about just changing government. I'm not speaking about how changing head of state, but change on the service delivery, change on how things are done, how people acquire services, how people are living. We need to see a growth in a lot of things in our environment. So the transition question is there, but also it needs to come with an honest conversation.
Okay, let's get into something really deep constitutional review, because the question has been, you appoint the referee in a game where you're going to play, and then you appoint the people that are supposed to provide checks and balances in the system. The Chief Justice is appointed by the President. The Chairman Electoral Commission or the Commission at large is also appointed by, I don't know that it's the commission, the whole commission, but I know, for example, that all of them are elected. So how do we, you the lawyers, have a statement about justice? Justice must not be what? But must also be seen to have been to be done, and so on. So likewise, in an election, from the go, we need to know that the referee in this game is non-partisan or doesn't belong to any of the teams and so on. Unfortunately, in Uganda, that is the case, and we seem to play along.
Our systems and our constitution was made as a one-man constitution.
Oh.
When you look at that constitution back then that had the Honorable Justice Benjamin Odochi, the Miriam Atembes, that constitutional committee that came up with the 1995 constitution, they had certain issues they wanted to address, issues of tribalism, issues of issue of separation of powers, issues of division of authority. They had certain issues that they needed the world to see that they're addressing. But they were not actually addressing the issue of power. When you read our constitution, you know our election rules, when you read the presidential elections, actually parliamentary elections, when you are a member of parliament and let's say you are a cabinet minister, you are not supposed to use money that is in the national coffers for your election. When you look at the presidential candidates of other nations, if you are a president and you are seeking for another election, you cease to be a president and the Chief Justice takes over. And you go to be a presidential candidate.
Now we are seeing a candidate signing presidential documents.
Now, in our country,
while a candidate.
Yes, you're a candidate and you still remain a president.
Yeah.
The constitution is something that we need to uphold, but then at the end of the day, it has a lot of loopholes. When you talk about the constitutional review, in line with the electoral commission, in line with appointing a chief justice, in line with appointing justice to the Supreme Court, yes, we have the Judicial Service Commission, but the Judicial Service Commission will recommend, but then the president will assent and then send to Parliament. And we have had also an issue with the vetting process in Parliament. There is a constitutional case that was talking about if a person has been sent to Parliament for vetting, it is not automatic that they have been actually passed and now they can serve. But it has been a format that when you are selected by the president and he sends your name for vetting in the parliamentary committee.
It's almost done and dusted.
Yes, and it is a part precedent. We have had people who have served on different capacities, but they are not capable of fulfilling their responsibilities. You have the executive director of UCC, for example. He's a former NRM cadre, and he's given an office that is supposed to regulate online conversation, online businesses, communications, and this is where people actually use and are and how they advocate for change. Now, you are administering over TikTok, and TikTok has the biggest number of opposition people, and you are an NRM cadre. How are you going to be free and fair to a person who is opposing the man who appointed you? That is why we are facing a lot of incompetence in government organizations, because we have one appointing authority who is the president, and the rest are just naysayers. You have nothing to do, but you go on establishing what the president has said. So the constitutional review will not come now, because the government we have in power
does not have the will to have it.
Not even the will. They are okay with how things are going.
Wow.
Because for them, they feel like there is nothing wrong. And this constitution was made by them, for them, and only for them. When we change government and we have to overhaul the whole constitution, that one will happen. But as per now and in the next 20, 50 years, we have one constitution and it is not changing.
Okay, let's get into, people are going to be voting Thursday and on, I think until the 19th of February, there's different kinds of elections that are going to be taking place and so on. How do you comment about the civic education?
Okay, this year,
This time around.
this time around in this election cycle, we have not had a lot of civic education from civil society organizations, Electoral Commission itself, Parliament of Uganda, or any civil society organization or government MDA that is entitled to address these things. Even the Minister of ICT, they have not gone to educate people on how to vote, educate people that it is their right to vote, and they have not educated people that voting is actually a way where your voice can be heard.
That's true.
People are still scared, people are still intimidated, people are still skeptical about all these things, and they are worried that if things remain like this, we are not getting anywhere. So the civic education has not been there. I worked with an organization for the deaf, and I have not seen the Electoral Commission come out to assist these organizations, especially the deaf organization, on how they can implement their right
because
to vote.
they're citizens, and they too need to be able to carry out voting.
Special interest groups have been left aside. How are you going to handle the elderly people? How are you going to handle the lame people? How are you going to handle the deaf, the blind? How are you? Because now you are introducing an electronic process. If I am blind in sight,
How
am I
do
going
I
to?
go about
Yes,
it?
because I'm not just going to go. We had that issue one time of the privacy during election. If I am blind, how do I exercise my right? Are there ballots that can enable me to read with my hands? Because at the end of the day, if you're saying everything is electronic, that means me as a blind person, I cannot vote.
That's true.
Because I cannot put a thumbprint and I cannot go to a voter machine to tap on someone who I don't know. So at the end of the day, that is a part that government and the civil society must do. But in this election, I was hearing Stephen Tasobia, a commissioner of Electoral Commission yesterday, thanking the president for funding this whole process from beginning to end. And I have been asking myself, he has funded the process well and good, but what about the duty of you people educating the citizens on how to vote? That has not been funded. We used to have civil society.
They spent up to a trillion, more than $1 trillion shillings, I think, on the election.
On just the process itself. But the civil societies which used to partner with the Electoral Commission as implementing partners, most of them have been, in this last 5 years, there has been a lot of subduing civil society organizations. When you look at Dr. Sarah Bireta now is in prison. When you look at Nicholas Opio, he faced a scenario in 2021 that he never wants to go back to. You now have Chapter 4 back to square one. The NGO Bureau was rationalized and taken under Ministry of Internal Affairs. It is now there and very incompetent. So when you look at all these organizations and civil societies that are supposed to carry out the civic duty of informing people about their right to vote, they have been suppressed and they have nothing much to do. So the civic duty of Ugandans, other than the politicians who are telling them go and vote, the government has not done enough to inform the people that you have a right to vote and you can exercise it, and it will be actually upheld. The integrity, because even carrying out the civic duty is not enough.
There must be trust in the process.
Yes, they should see that you are able to uphold the ethics of an election. Because you will not tell me you have a right to vote, come and vote, and at the end of the day, the numbers are going to be upside down. We had in Entebbe, I still have phobia for the mayor of Entebbe. How can you tell me that the third person in the race
Was the winner.
was announced in the election? But you see, the Fabrice Ruhinda is always, the face of Entebbe. But at the end of the day, there was no trust in the election process. So the civic patch can be there, but how you uphold the results of the election is also very important.
Okay, there has been a question of rights, and then, now specifically the right for me to stay around and
the 20 meters
20 meters thing and so on. It's a legal thing, isn't
Yes,
it? Yeah. So where does somebody come and say, go home, if I am interested in peacefully staying around, really?
This election cycle has been beautiful, I can say, because there are a lot of things that even our own seniors in the profession are saying, and you're asking yourself, a justice, like the chairperson of the
the
Electoral
Electoral
Commission.
Commission,
You are saying this. I see most people in police, by the way, some of them are even advocates. They are lawyers.
Yes.
They have practicing certificates. They are practicing law, and you hear them saying things of 20 meters, go home. But there are not 20 meters. Kampala has not 20 meters. What are you trying to say? The interpretation of the law is supposed to be specific and to the dot. You know, there is different ways of interpreting the law. But when it comes to election laws, in our practice of the law, election laws and election time periods do not have adjustments. You know, court has a right to adjust time and extend time and also adjust mandates. But when it comes to elections,
you don't have the right.
They are specific because it goes to the core of the understanding of the democracy of the country. So when the law says 20 meters, I will count the 20 meters and stay there.
Yeah.
I don't...
I'm being peaceful.
Yes.
Whereas I have the right to stay there, I also have the responsibility to maintain peace. So if I'm maintaining peace and saying I'm not disturbing the process of the election, why should I be intimidated and threatened away?
No, Mr. Simbwa, you know, the presumption
Is
the NRM party wants to give is any person who wants to stay within the 20 meters is violent, which is not true. You can stay within the 20 meters and sit down and observe. Because the issue of the 20 meters is observing nothing wrong is happening to the election process.
Yes.
So we need to build trust. So our security forces are instilling fear among our people instead of building the trust. Because if the law says 20 meters and you are making a case of Kampala is too small, the polling stations are very small, so that means we cannot have a 20-meter rule, it is wrong. Let people go and vote. Be peaceful on your voting day. Measure your 20 meters and stay there. Observe. The whole thing is observing that the election is going in a right and fair manner. So if you're telling me that people are not supposed to be 20 meters, then what are you going to do about the polling agents? Because you're about to also chase them away.
From there,
So at the end of the day, there are certain things we need to uphold. Even when we are decaying so far, so down.
There are things that are shameful to...
Yes, because the whole political arena cannot start shrinking and everyone becomes decayed to that extent. We need to uphold certain values in our election process and let people actually see that they can trust the state.
Okay. Finally, as we wind up, what do you foresee Thursday morning and so on until the 19th?
I know that there are certain people who are going to win. There are certain people who are going to lose. I am going to be realistic. I want to congratulate the president, whoever it's going to be. I know come 15th, I know come 15th, there will be a president by 17th who will be announced. I want to encourage our members of parliament who are running that it is okay to lose an election. There are certain people who don't want to hear the word I've lost. And they spend so much time.
It's inevitable. They don't have a draw, I think. Unlike in football, where you have a draw. This time there must be a loser and a winner.
There is in our election laws, there is where a number, I think around section 73, where it talks about mandatory recount, where you have less than, if me and you are in the same election and you win me by only 50 votes or less, we can go for mandatory recounting. That is there. But then at the end of the day, we don't foresee some of those things.
Why is that? Why is it there?
The mandatory recounting? Because sometimes you can have a tight race.
Yes, it's tight, but I saw that in Liberia, where I think somebody won an election by around 20,000 votes, and they were declared winner.
Yes.
George Weah against somebody, I believe.
Yes, 20,000 is a big number.
Really?
Yeah, 20,000 is a big number. Because in parliamentary elections, it's 50 votes. If we are 50 and below, we go for a recount, mandatory recount.
But it did represent 2% of the vote.
No.
Then for them, it was 49 against, I think, was it 49? I think he got a 50. The other one eventually got a 50, but this one had a 49 something. But
still, our laws say 50%.
Okay.
Especially for president.
Okay.
Not down here, but up there it's supposed to be 50%. I want to encourage our members of parliament to campaign. Today is their last day. Let them go out there and campaign. There has been fears of election violence, fears of election malpractice. It is true these things happen. I saw them in the primaries of NRM. They were very bad. People were piercing themselves with spears, throwing stones at candidates, which was not right. But on 15th, let candidates go and vote. Their supporters should keep the utmost discipline. Our opposition candidates, try as much as possible to encourage your people who are going to vote to maintain the peace and order. There is nothing wrong with voting and going ahead to wait and see how your candidate is going to perform. For people going into for local government on 16th, same thing. Encourage your people to vote. Encourage your polling agents not to take money on the polling day. You have people who are eating money on the polling day and they are changing results. The election officers, polling assistants, registers, try as much as possible to uphold the trust that people are giving to you. So, me, the 15th, there is nothing different I'm expecting. It's going to be chaotic in some areas. It's going to be peace in some areas. Some polling stations are not going to vote. For us as lawyers, we are going to be having a lot of election petitions to handle. We are going to experience a lot of trauma among our young people. But let's maintain peace. Let's pray for our country. And let's exercise our right to vote.
Okay. Counsel Calvin Mwahuzi, a political analyst and also a lawyer, dissecting the issues, and I believe that out of that, you're well equipped to go and do your elections or to participate in the elections. That is a Thursday and onwards, because there will be local government elections and so on and so forth. We'll keep it at that and say have yourselves a wonderful day. God bless you. Bye-bye.